Hi guys, welcome to week 6. This is May 11th, and this week we're going to be doing some division problems like we did last week, except this week they're going to have remainders. So your assignments this week, you're going to have some guided practice, you're going to have a problem-solving task, you're going to have a Google form that you'll need to complete for your grade, and then I also want you to complete your Imagine Math benchmark. All right, so let's get started. Sometimes when we divide, there are leftovers that cannot be put into equal groups, and we call these remainders. Okay, and so depending on the problem, we can ignore the remainder. We might need to add a group, split the remainder, or sometimes the remainder is the answer. And if you think back to class, remember we talked about Soldier Joe and the one ant that was left behind? This will help you remember remainders. Okay, so remember the parts of an algorithm, and the R right here is the R stands for remainders. So first things first, we always organize our division problems by place, our hundreds, tens, and ones. We have our bracket, we have our divisor that goes outside of the bracket, our dividend, this is the whole number that we're dividing up. And we have our quotient, which is the answer. All right, so we will record our thinking on the top up here to show and do all our work down here. Okay, so let's do a little bit of practice. If we were going to take 647 and divide that into 3 groups, we always want to start with the biggest place in case we need to regroup those. So we would say we're going to divide the hundreds by thinking, 3 times what can get me as close to 600 as possible? Since I know that 3 times 200 is 600, so I record the 2 in the hundreds place on top, because 200 times 3 is 600. So I record the chunk that I'm dividing out, and to do that, I multiply 3, my divisor, by my 200. So 2 times 3 is 600. So 600 minus 600, I've got to subtract out the group I just divided out. So remember, divide, multiply, subtract. So subtract 6 minus 6, and that gives me 0. Now I'm going to bring down the next place. So now I have 4 tens to divide up. So 4 tens to divide up by 3. So now I'm going to divide again, and I think this time 40 divided by 3, or I can think 3 times what equals 4 tens. So the closest I can get to 3 times 10 is 30. So I'll record a 1 in the tens place. Okay, now I multiply. 1 times 3 is 3, and then I subtract. And out the number, this is what I'm dividing by. So I subtract 4 minus 3, and that leaves me with 1 10 left. And then I'm going to regroup or bring down my 7 ones. So now I have 17 left to divide out by 3. So now, remember, I'm going to bring it back now, and I'm going to say 17 divided by 3. So how can I get to 17? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. I don't have enough to make 18, so I can only go 3 times 5 is 15. So I'm going to record a 5 on the top, and then I'm going to multiply. 5 times 3 is 15, and then I subtract, and that leaves me with 3. Oh, I'm sorry, 17 minus 15 leaves me with 2. So now there's nothing left to bring down, and I have 2 remaining. So I have to think to myself, if I have 2 remaining, do I have enough to make another group? No, I only have 2. So that means that 2 is my remainder. So I would put that right up here with the remainder. Okay, so remember the steps of division. You divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Then you bring it back. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, bring it back. And then when you get a remainder, when you're all done and you've brought down all your numbers, you need to check and make sure your divisor is less. Your remainder is less than your divisor. And then you know that that is what's left over. Okay, so now breaking news. You need to think about all of your passwords this week. Oh, let me check. Let me find the math one. The math one is, oh goodness, I should have known this beforehand. Okay. I'm going to pause. Okay, breaking news. I found it. Your password, your secret email dojo point this week, password is Dr. Pepper. So make sure that you listen to all 4 of your videos. Your math one is Dr. Pepper. Okay, let's keep going with your assignments this week. All right, so in guided practice, you're going to have a pear deck that will walk you through all the steps, and you'll complete that just like you did. It'll be in your Google Classroom attached. Then there's a problem-solving task. You will just solve it on a sheet of paper. And then your graded assignment, you'll log into Imagine Math and complete the benchmark. It will prompt you to begin when you log in. So this is what you need to do first. And then for the other part of your grade assignment is to complete the Division Google form, and it's posted in your Google Classroom. Okay, and that's all for this week. You are going to do great. If you have any questions, let me know.